Good afternoon. Y'all thank the Lord for filters, because maybe. So happy Monday. We are back with our Her Live series. We're back with our Her Live series. Y'all, can y'all believe that Women's History Month is coming to an end? Like, we are literally in the last stretch, the home stretch. This is the last week, y'all. And it has been an amazing month. But baby, this has definitely been a challenge for me nonetheless, to really get myself out there and show up for you guys every week. Is what I needed to do anyway. So, we're doing it. So I'm so excited for this live today. Uh-oh. I think she went in the room. So I'm super excited for our live today. As soon as we get the technicalities work on. Because y'all, we literally be going a million miles a minute, like all the time. So, it is, we getting there. But I'm so excited to be wrapping up this month. It has been an amazing month. I've had some amazing women on this live series all month long. Y'all have been rocking out with us, and so appreciative, so grateful for y'all. This was literally just a thought that came to my brain. Somebody gave me a confirmation to do it, and I just was like, okay, we here, let's do it. I don't know what this is gonna look like. I don't know how it's gonna be, but we're gonna do it. So, oh, look at God. Oh, baby. Okay.
Hi.
We're gonna have a whole conversation about that on the back end.
Had to figure that out real quick.
Figure it out.
Listen, I'm resourceful though. I figured it out. I got here.
You are, and I'm not mad about it. Okay,
Yes, I got here
happens.
because I was
Wait,
on Zoom.
that was the link to get you scheduled. Okay.
Yes, I
Um,
understand that. But how are you?
yeah, it's been a day, but you know what? It's okay. It's Monday. Monday is Monday. You look like you just got off work.
Yeah. I just got off work and then I came home and I'm working some more. You
That,
know how it is.
that is the life. So
Life.
I have referred to you on social media as Dr. Joy, but baby, I do not call her that.
Yeah.
That is for y'all. That is not for me. That is awkward for me to say. I'm just gonna tell y'all right now.
Like, who is Dr. Joy? Please.
So I was like, I'm gonna put this out there for the people so they can know who you are and they can put some respect on your name. I respect her. I do not call her that. And
No.
I'm not gonna tell y'all what I call her, but I'm not calling her that.
No.
So however y'all choose.
They can call me Joy. It's just fine. It's just fine.
Joy, but still, put some respect on my name. Okay.
Sure.
And
hey, I see somebody saying hello. Hi.
Hey, Joy. I don't know who that is. So we are going to get into the conversation. because I'm excited for this. Joy, how is it that we're connecting on this side
On
of
this
life?
side of life. That's
Okay,
wild.
it's you know,
Yeah.
it's something. Let's say that it's
I'm
something.
proud of you. I'm
So
so proud of you. This is
I know
great.
it is great, but you know it has its days, but it's okay.
Yeah.
So we will start with an introduction of who you are, so that the people can understand who you are and why. You know, just who you are,
Yeah.
and then we can get into why you're on here today. Okay.
Sure. Well, my name is Joy, Dr. Joy Eudaimonia, and I'm a CRNA. I know Janisha through being roommates in college, and we've just like kept a friendship since then. I live in Houston, where I moved for graduate school in 2015. I've been a practicing CRNA for about 5 years now. And yeah, it's been 5 years. It's been 5 years. And now I'm a tech founder. So, you know, other things. Started doing other things, you know.
Yes, because y'all, we're gonna take you all the way back.
Yeah.
But you know, a check founder is not like far off removed, but it's
It's
not far
pretty
off.
different. It's
But
pretty
it is a
different.
whole
Yeah.
different aspect.
Yeah.
So tell them a little bit about your
Mm-hmm.
business, what it is,
Yeah.
what being a founder in tech, what that looks like,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the conversation I want to kind of
Okay.
navigate into today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it all started with an idea, right? Like most things do. You know, I've been a healthcare provider now since I was 19. I've been navigating all the different problems in the healthcare system since I was a teenager. So I think when I came into healthcare, I thought, well, this is a little bit. I see some things that I feel like I would change, but of course, I think the way that we usually respond to that as providers is like we move on to the next thing, right? So like I went from being a tech to being an RN, and then I went from being an RN to grad school. And then when I got to grad school and like some of these same issues were still there, it was just kind of like, well, I can't keep escaping, right? Like, what can I do about some of these problems that I experience? And so I started thinking about one of the things that frustrated me the most, which is the way we find jobs, and how it seems like in other areas of healthcare, you just don't have to go through as much, you know, and we had these recruitment agencies where it's like, you know, you kind of got to deal with this person who really profits off of your labor. But it's the only way that healthcare facilities have to really find us. And then it was also the process that I went through as, at the time I was working as a 1099 CRNA. So like I wanted to work for myself, which I know like is a goal that a lot of people have, and they just don't have like the access to do that. They don't have the resources. It's not in a place, like in one central place where they can really like do everything that they need to do. Because I think that your work life really should be as simple as possible because you spend so much time doing it. And it was really affecting like my mental health and like my ability to have like space for other things. So I was just like, well, this is kind of whack. Like, what would I do differently, right? So it started with me just like sketching on paper. I took a long trip to Europe, you know this, and like during that trip, I honestly was considering whether or not I would continue in healthcare and whether or not I would continue in anesthesiology, because I didn't want to work the way that I was working. It was like, you know, I'm successful, you know, I have these credentials, I'm making all this money, but like I'm not happy in my work life. So while I was on that trip, I started to think about the things that I would change. I started sketching those things out, and it went from paper to iPad. Then from the iPad, I started asking people like, well, how do you make an app? How do you build this? How do you do that? And I messed up a couple of times. You know, I hired somebody who like told me they could do it on a, you know, just a website, and it didn't work out. So, you know, stumbled and fell there. Then I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I tried it again with another person who like was overseas and they thought that they could do it. And then I just finally was like, you know, if I really want to make this like really impactful change, I got to put my money where my mouth is. I have to really start getting involved in people who've done this before. So I started just like networking. Somebody that I know that's really, really smart tells me all the time that there's a one letter difference between networking and not working. And I know know. I want it on a shirt. It's so good. It's so good. It's only a 1-letter difference between networking and not working. And everything I was doing before networking was not working. So yeah, ain't that a revelation?
Baby,
I was like,
you better,
shirt.
you better
Yeah.
patent it,
Yeah.
trademark.
A t-shirt. Yeah, for sure.
There you go.
So, it like really opened my eyes, and I started networking in the Houston tech like ecosystem because, several different places in the United States are realizing that tech can really like change lives. And if you depend on Silicon Valley to sort of like dictate what the rest of the company does, then you're not going to have people who are really able to found
We
companies.
see how that's going.
Yeah, right. Like all the companies that really make impactful change in the world are going to come out of California. And it's like there's a lot of different people all over the world that have good ideas. So at least in Houston, because Texas is a place that people are moving to because of the low cost of living and all these other things, all these oil companies are starting to transition into technology, Saudi Aramco and the rest. Anyway, they're creating avenues for people to come and like share ideas and figure out like how to actually build dangerous companies, like, for the better. So I started just like networking, talking to people, and that's how I found my technical partner. And since then, like things have just been moving.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, listen, y'all, Joy has always been one of the smartest people I know. Okay. She's always been one of them, okay. So it's amazing. I'm really about to put that on the shirt.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how, and literally all month, there has been things that we evolved that has just been universal in every single conversation that I've had with every woman I've brought in here. It's collaboration. Networking is at the top of the list.
Number one.
That is the number one thing that every single woman on here has said. Networking, collaboration, and moving your feet. Like that's literally all it is. Like like you said, everybody has a great idea.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do with that idea?
What are you going to do? How do you bring that idea to the world without making the same mistakes that everybody else has made? Like, one of my biggest lessons in this is, yes, it taught me a lot to have like failed a couple of times. But like, what if I had learned from other people's mistakes instead of my own? Like, isn't that how it's supposed to be? So
success leaves clues. There's my favorite thing that my coach tells me all the time.
Yeah.
Success leaves clues.
Yeah.
So you need to go and look and see what other successful businesses are doing.
Left. Yep.
It's not like it's a secret.
No.
It is public information in these big companies. It's not like you can't go find it. So
I'm like, I have apps all up and down my phone. I have apps all up and down my phone. So it's like, how are they doing it? Yeah. So I think really kind of getting out of my comfort, I wouldn't even say it was my comfort zone. I think it was just like a lack of knowledge and a lack of like I had to like suspend my disbelief that people I met at like a networking event could change my life, because I think my second time going to, downtown and just literally at a networking event, after the event, during the event, they interviewed the CEO of blinds.com, who ended up selling his company to Home Depot. And he had written this book about like how to, like found a company like that, and just like having your like company values and all these things. I was like, okay, well, that's a little advanced for me, but let me just show up. And I went, and then after that event, there was like a drinking, networking thing at the adjacent bar. And that's where I met the person who introduced me to my technical partner. So just like taking the chance of like going out on a Wednesday evening changed my life.
If I could throw something at you, I would. We good for that. Okay, I'll just throw it at the camera. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw it. Because it's really like, and I am in a space right now where I'm really leaning into being comfortable being uncomfortable, because baby, it is not, it ain't good. But putting yourself out there, going and talking to people that you don't know, putting yourself in other circles, because staying in the same circle is not going to get you anywhere.
That's what it was. Yeah. That's exactly what it was
Like you're,
healthcare people couldn't help me because I was trying to go in this direction. If I'm trying to go in this direction, why am I talking to the people over here? I need to be over there. Yeah.
yes.
And it's not rocket science when you say it out loud, but like it's important to remember it like in the experience that you're having too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to you're not as bad as this as I am, but like I be in my head a lot. You do a very good job of getting yourself out of your head when you know you're getting into your
Yeah.
always done it. So you don't really stay and like stew in your own thoughts because you be like, no, this ain't getting me nowhere. I ain't there yet. I'm learning to get there, but I'm not there yet. But a lot of times, especially in healthcare, and I was just having this conversation yesterday. The healthcare world is so small. Like,
so small.
It is so small.
And we have habits. We have habits as healthcare providers. We have habits, and I don't want to label the habits because I feel like if it works for healthcare, then it's not a bad habit, right? But if you don't have experience in other areas like business or having to learn that too, areas of business, because that's not something you learn in healthcare, right? Like nobody teaches you business. So if it's not something that is specific to healthcare that you're wanting to do, or even if it is in healthcare and it has just other aspects that you're not educated on, I think number one, you have to like tell yourself that what my dad always tells me is the people who are doing it don't have two heads. They got the same one head, just like you do. So if they were able to figure it out, you can figure it out. You got to put the work in there, and you got to go out there and network and meet people who can teach you how to do what you want to do. And I'm still learning that. I'm stumbling through like social media marketing, and it's like, oh, there are people who have built pages with thousands and thousands of followers. Why are you trying to figure this out by yourself?
Yeah. And it's true. I say this all the time, even with Brittany. We don't learn business is not something that is in our curriculum. It should be.
It should be. It should be.
But
so now that I have started this journey, it's made it super clear to me because people will be like, how do you even go about building an app? And I'm like, this is so funny because I remember asking myself that 3 years ago, and here I am and people are asking me that. So it's like there's also the opportunity now to like teach people how to like get into this, because I truly believe that healthcare will only change if there are more healthcare founders, if there are more clinicians founding businesses in healthcare. So like we have to like create, like you said, leave the clues for other people to like find their way to the same thing.
Yeah, that is very cool. Yeah. And so I feel I be conflicted about that sometimes.
Why?
Because I feel, based on my own experience, that the people who are really making the changes and the decisions, well, let me say in hospital healthcare, let me say that.
Right.
The people who are making those decisions in that area, one, have never worked bedside. They have no idea what actually happens below their offices. And they make these changes with what they think looks great on paper and based on metrics. It's not realistic. So all they're looking at is their bottom line. And nothing else.
You preach into the choir, but guess what? I have another t-shirt for you. Because I feel like the solution to that is this. It's for us to be the powers that be. I feel like the powers that be. Yes, another shirt. Yeah, I know. I'm going to get all these shirts made, I promise. I'm actually going to get them all made. Another t-shirt company. But I feel like the reason that we get that top-down influence all the time is, you're right, the people who know business are not in healthcare. The people who know how to build a building, and like sometimes you're working the ICU and like, or wherever you work, and the whole place is configured wrong. It's because the person who made those decisions doesn't work like you. And that's why we need clinician founders. Absolutely. We need clinician founders. Like I'm going to do my best, like after, like I'm busy right now, but I'm going to do my best to make sure that there are more clinician founders like in the tech ecosystem for sure.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
Because we, all of us, even the people that are on here, exactly. The people who know business, they run the healthcare.
They're running healthcare, but the people who know healthcare don't know anything about business. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. Throw the whole system away. What's not clicking? What's not clicking?
Like, the people who know business run healthcare. The people who know healthcare don't run business.
Know anything
That's
about it.
wonder why it's a mess. How they keep us separate.
You wonder why it's a mess. You wonder why it's a mess. I think the only people who maybe get any business training at all are physicians, in the sense that they have to start their own practice, but even that is outside of their healthcare training. But because nurses are not used to starting their own practice, they're not used to creating, it's a whole, like, even knowing how to create an LLC is a problem for some people, which is why, as part of Locum, we're creating resource partnerships for some of our users as well. So, like, you can, if you're a Locum member, actually we're vetting accounting partners, law partners, malpractice insurance partners, health insurance partners, so you can create all those resources for yourself on one platform. Because that's something else that I noticed, is like, we just don't know how to take care of ourselves when it comes to business. So,
but I feel like, again, this is based on my experience, okay? They want to keep us, and I preface that because people really try to come for me, but they don't want us. That's why the bedside is such a disaster now. Yeah. More and more people are leaving bedside to do other things, but they don't teach us that because they don't want us to learn that, because it makes you too powerful outside of their system. And they don't like that.
I'm hesitant to believe that. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't think you're wrong at all. I think that maybe it's not necessarily there's not some guy in like a shroud somewhere that's conspiring to keep healthcare workers from making these decisions, right? But I think that it's the system that lends itself to these problems. It's like, because the powers that be don't understand what it's like to be on the other side, they wouldn't create those opportunities for people to learn those things. Why would they? Because they don't understand. They don't know what it's like to be on the other side. So I think it's really that the system is built wrong. And it functions wrong for that reason. But it's not like we're helpless because the powers that be make it that way. I think that if we have amazing ideas, if we have the funding and the resources and the opportunity, and we help each other through networking, I really think that we can do things to change the industry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I can inject a little bit.
Yeah, I'm glad, well, but still. Yeah. So tell us what Locum is. Like, where did you come up with this name? What is the app? Like, what does it do? Tell us about it.
Totally. So locum tenens work is temporary work that advanced practice providers do. So your physicians, your CRNAs, your NPs, midwives, etc. It's a descriptor for temporary work, right? So if you're 1099 working on a contract basis, sometimes, like for anesthesiology, you're covering like one day here, one day there during the week. That is what describes the type of work that you do. Now, I started doing that about 18 months into my practice because I liked that. When I was a travel nurse, I could do that. But it's an extremely difficult thing to do if you're an advanced practice provider, given that like you have this credentialing process that you have to go through at the end of the day. So it all started with that. I was like, why is it that let's say I work at about 10 different facilities all over Houston. I have to go through the exact same credentialing process at each facility. And it's not just that, it's the fact that it's the exact same information. Why isn't this stored somewhere where you can just get this information from me in the first place? So then I realized like there were terrible inefficiencies in the credentialing system. And I started it all started with like, how would I design this to work if it was just credentialing? But then that didn't seem like smart business to me, right? Because what triggers credentialing? It's the employment process. So we had to roll it back and start all the way at employment. How do people find work? How do people book jobs? How do people get paid? And all those things. So that's what Locum is. It's a two-sided mobile matchmaking platform that connects healthcare workers like me to healthcare facilities, consulting groups, management groups that need their services. So let's say you're Methodist and you contract your anesthesia service to United States Anesthesia Partners. That's your management group. That management group is responsible for recruiting, hiring, credentialing, and staffing that hospital. So our software, it's enterprise software for that management company to be able to find CRNAs, book CRNAs, pay CRNAs, credential CRNAs, all in one platform.
That is amazing. I'm just waiting for the movement because I need it to be outside of y'all. But I understand why you start in that arena. That's the area that you know. That makes sense because you know the CRNA world.
Exactly.
I know what it takes for me to find a job, get paid. Let me start with what I know. And I feel like so many people try to start somewhere they don't know. Start with where you know first. And so I know the answers to this, but people do not.
Okay.
So what is next outside of CRNAs? Are you looking to move to providers that are, APP, that are physician assistants, and even nurses?
Yeah, so right now we're focused on advanced practice providers. And the reason for that is I think that people will use a product that they can help build. And that's my goal for locum, is to really, as a clinician, use that. I don't want to get away from the fact that I'm a CRNA or that I'm a nurse. I want to use that to build a product that the people I built it for will actually want to use. So for me, it's about really getting into the, the CRNA community right now, figuring out what kind of platform they want to use, building it to that. And then we can start to make these changes as we branch to other types of providers. Because I think when I've seen platforms like this before, they've either catered only to one type of provider in terms of just nurses, or they try to do everybody all at the same time. And I'm not interested in that, because I think that it's really about serving the provider. We really have to give them a chance to tell us how they want the platform to work. So that's what we're doing now, starting with CRNAs. We're definitely going to move on to other types of advanced practice providers. And who knows, depending on our timeline and how fast we can accomplish that goal, definitely we'll be thinking about nursing as well.
I like that, Joy.
Yeah.
She's good. Okay, she's good. But yes, Brittany's it takes 3 to 5 months for credentialing. It does. Yeah. It is annoying.
Yeah.
And you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Baby, I'm sick of that.
Yeah.
I mean, even at my level, if y'all send me one more module to do, I swear I'm a scream.
Yeah. And they don't realize, sometimes people are recruiting for a job and they don't understand that, providers will stay at their same job just so they don't have to go through the credentialing process for another job. It's really, really something that's affecting people's work lives. You'll stay at a job that you don't like because you don't want to credential for the next one. And that's something that, we're trying to do something about that too. I think that what I'm trying to build is something that I would really like to be convenient and easy and sustainable for the provider. I think everything else we've seen so far is catered towards the other side. And that's part of why it really worked for us, and we don't like to use it. I want to keep something on my phone that makes it easy for me to find work. It makes getting paid super easy. And I put my credentialing information in there one time and I don't have to do it all over it again. Yeah.
And that's literally you stay because you don't want to have to do all this stuff all over. It's true.
You see what I'm saying? So people will I'll talk to facilities that are offering a $60,000 sign-on bonus for you to come and be a CRNA at wherever in Tyler, Texas. And I'm like, there's CRNAs all over Tyler, Texas. You know why they didn't want to take that job? Because it's inconvenient for them. It's not easy for them to leave their job. If you make it easy for them to leave their job, they will come and take the $60,000.
That will fix a lot of y'all staffing problems that y'all have. I mean, when you think about it,
there's a shortage, sure, but you guys don't make it not to have a shortage. You have non-competes. You have a job that I have to sign over my entire life in order to take the job. I'm like, what if you had a platform where if you have 2 W-2 positions, or if you have 1 W-2 position, you can split it between 2 people. You let one person work Monday through Wednesday. You let another person work Thursday through Friday. They can go work somewhere else and earn some extra money. Now you don't have a staffing shortage. All of a sudden, there's no staffing shortage. It's the way that work is structured that's wrong. Yeah.
I mean, I write a lot of notes.
Yeah.
So kind of, I know you said that are y'all still in the beta testing part?
So as of today, actually this morning I woke up and we are searchable and findable in the App Store.
Now, is it iOS and Android?
iOS and Android.
Okay.
I actually didn't announce the Android until iOS came around because I was like, people are going to be so upset if it's in the Play Store but not in the App Store. But it's in both stores.
Because I'm going to be the first one to ask, okay? Yeah. So that is amazing. I'm going to download it. And I can't do nothing with it, but I'm still download it.
You can do it. You can give it 5 stars. You can, support.
Yeah, I can do that part, but I can't do nothing for that. But that is that's literally, I feel like that was just in beta testing, I swear, like 2 weeks ago.
Beta testing was 9 weeks ago. We beta tested the provider side. We already have a few jobs in Texas, which I was not expecting to have jobs by now. And we're onboarding some more partners with jobs in several states over the next coming weeks. Yeah. Things are happening.
I'm telling y'all, my friends are bomb. Okay, I don't care what nobody say. My friends are bomb. Y'all friends might be good, but they're
not quite as good.
They're not as good as mine. Okay, my circle is tight. Okay, but that is so amazing.
So I saw it, I searched it and I saw it come up and I was like,
did you do a little G?
A little bit.
Do a little shout. Do a little one, okay? Because baby, you wouldn't have been able to tell me nothing on here today. I would have came on this live with a whole cup in my hand. Let me tell y'all. Let me start where I'm at right now. We live as of today, but I'm gonna introduce myself. But we live today.
Maybe after 8 p.m.
That's so nice, baby. It is 3:30. Okay, I could have had a mimosa already when I woke up. But so really, what really made you say, I need to shift into something that's different?
Well, it's discomfort, as it usually is. It was discomfort. I came out of CRNA school, which was incredibly difficult, as I'm sure you've heard of. And I expected going through what I was going through so that I would come out on the other side and I would have this beautiful life and this beautiful career. And, I would see CRNAs who seemed like they were living such happy lives. And I thought, that's what's going to happen to me. But I forgot that my profession is only 2% minority. And I believe might be 2% Black. I think it's right around, it's under 3%. And, I'm one of those people who I think it's not that I forget my Blackness, is that I forget to put it in the perspective of my work environment, right? I felt like I trained to do this. I'm good at my job, and I walked into work like a person who's trained to do something and they're good at their job. And my reception was not what I expected it to be. I was questioned more than I felt like I should have been. I was ignored more than I felt like I should have been. I was just going through a lot of things that I thought, well, what am I doing to contribute to this? And every time I adjust to make everything was working. Then something happened at work. I made a horrible mistake, lost a syringe, which later was found, right? And because I was an employee and there was a 0 tolerance policy, I was actually terminated before risk management even called me to figure out hey, what happened? And again, it was a syringe that was found. It wasn't a syringe was missing and nobody ever found it, or you failed a drug test. I feel actually my job would have been protected if I had failed a drug test over what actually happened, right? So I thought, well, here I am. I'm out of CRNA school. I'm several 6 figures in debt. My family's depending on me to get through this, not be as broke as I was before. All of a sudden, I don't have a job. So what happened? I got another job 2 days later. I literally walked across the street to a hospital that trained me, got another job. And I had still had to sit at home for 3 months because credentialing. And then after that, I got to that next job and it was terrible. Same experiences, but even worse because people had found out what happened at the other place. So like I was going through bullying at work. I was going through depression because other things in my life were not going well. And all of a sudden, I want to leave this next job, but I'm afraid to because it's going to take me another 3 months to get to the next job. And that's when I quit my job on a Wednesday and I left the country for a month. And I thought, I'm not doing this. But thankfully, I didn't give up. Thankfully, I turned that it was obviously like the darkest time of my life. But I turned that into something different because I thought, well, what am I going to do about this? And yeah, that's why. That's how it all came to be.
That's literally, and I told somebody this at work the other day. I wanted to quit nursing after I had been a nurse for 6 months. Mm-hmm. 6 months. And the crazy thing is we've all experienced something similar as Black and brown people in health.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've all been bullied. We've all been questioned, whether it's by colleagues, whether it's by your peers, whether it's by somebody who's above you, whether it's about all the time. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, but why are you questioning me and what I do? I've trained to do what I'm doing. I'm licensed to do what I'm doing. So somebody tells me that I can do it. But yeah, that's still not good enough for me.
And other people are perfectly allowed to be mediocre without the same consequences.
Or worse. Mediocre is a nice
word.
Worse
mediocre, and they will still. But guess what? Again, the answer to that, and I will never forget this, and I hope I never forget this, is we have to be the powers that be. If the powers that be are they're doing things that they're not supposed to be doing to us, we have to find avenues to be the powers that be. Like we have to be the ones who are making the decisions. And how do we do that? We come up with innovative solutions. We got to network amongst each other to support each other. And we have to actually create the change that we want to see. Go figure.
I told you, she's one of the smartest people I know. Okay, she'll put me in a good place real quick. Like, okay, Janisha, I'd be all in my head. Okay, Janisha, but think about it this way. But it's true.
Yeah, we can complain. We can say that it's not fair. It's never going to be fair if we're not the ones who are making the decisions. And so, we just gotta, and we gotta do it early. We gotta do it as soon as we're pissed. We gotta do it as soon as we're not happy with the way things are. It's like starting.
And that's that when you think about it, that's the reason why I started my business. I was unhappy in my current job. I did not want to, my life as a bedside nurse, I just could not see it being fulfilling anymore. I had hit a wall. I did not feel, I'm like, this is not the ladder that I want to grow. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be in this space.
Yeah.
I hate it here, actually.
Yeah.
I go to work every day. I'm irritated. I'm mad. Somebody gonna piss me off, whether it's a staff member, a patient, a doctor. Somebody is gonna irritate me.
Yeah.
And when you get to that point, and now I'm like, it's starting to jeopardize my mental health.
It changes.
It changes you completely. And I was like, there's got to be something else.
Yeah.
I get tired. I literally said, I'm tired of people coming into these ERs week after week after week for the same things that we are just treating them for. There's got to be something different. So I said, I don't want to be in reactive healthcare anymore. You don't get anywhere.
Yeah.
You throw pills at them, you throw prescriptions at them, you do all this, you throw them, and they still gonna come back anyway.
Yeah. And I don't know if you remember this. It's interesting to me, now that we're talking, this might have to be an off-live conversation in terms of how do you make these changes and how do you make these connections. But when I was in undergrad, my undergrad thesis for honors college was studying burnout, especially.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Paired, I think it was ER, pediatrics, ICU, and med surg to see how a certain thing correlated to burning out in your career. And lo and behold, it was the people who what do they say? The squeaky wheel gets the oil. It was the people who were the squeakiest that got the oil. So I think that there's usually negative consequences if you are the squeaky wheel, depending on where you're working. But that's that's how things pay off. Is I think that when we don't pay attention to how people's work lives influence their mental health, you're literally ignoring how a person spends a third of their day, which often is more times than they spend with their family. So improving people's work lives is just something that I'm like really, really passionate about. And like, it's so cool to see women, like other Black women, other Black healthcare female providers coming out of that mindset that, you know, you just do what you train to do and you don't try to go somewhere else and make a change for yourself as well.
But yeah, I do remember that piece. You know what? I'm starting that because that's a good, because it's more than, and what I found, it's more than just work-life balance. And people preach, you know, they teach that you have to make sure that you have work-life balance. But
you cannot massage away a toxic work environment. I'm sorry. You just can't do it. You can't get facials to fix your boss who's harassing you. You can't do that. Self-care is important, but
when you think about, like, people spend majority of their lives at work. And if you're miserable in your work life, it's going to spill over into your personal life.
It shows up. Even if you don't know that it's showing up, it shows up.
It is.
Yeah.
And then, baby, I'm a person like, you're going to have to find something else to do. Because at this rate, I don't enjoy being around you. And I'm not saying that everything that, and I feel like that misconception comes from society that, well, you're a nurse and so your life is amazing and, you know, you make a good living and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
only people who've never met a nurse think this way. Only people who think this way.
Baby, we all miserable. Okay, if you ask the ones that be at work, they hate their life. I guarantee you they do. Why do you think they be rude? Well, she was so rude. I'm like, I mean, she might be, but I can't even be mad at her now because it is, like you said, it is a majority of the time it's a toxic relationship. And people just get abused day after day after day after day after day.
And so imagine doing it in a healthcare system that literally could not survive without you. The power dynamics are so inverted, again, because we're not the people who make the decisions. And that's why we have to change that. Like, it's going to be this way. Have you ever seen a group of people with power voluntarily surrender it? Never.
They kind of figure out how to acquire more.
Thank you. And the way they acquire more is they create these environments just the way that we're working in them. So, like, we have to do whatever we need to do in order to be the people who change it. That's it.
You know what? See, that, you know.
Like getting.
But you're right. How many nurses that work with an intern that doesn't just survive their work day? I mean, that's true. I had a coworker at one of my jobs. The bubbliest person I swear I've ever met, that I've ever worked with. Worked with her one night. We had an amazing shift, y'all. Like we got our asses handed to us that night, but we did it together.
Mm-hmm.
Come to work the next week, the girl killed herself.
Oh my gosh! And like
you would have never known.
The fact that the rate of physician suicide are climbing, the fact that nurses are not it's insane. In the job where it's supposed to be rewarding because you're actually caring for patients, but all been in the hospital because you're not getting that feeling of, oh, I'm here changing lives and I'm like helping people. You're getting the feeling of, I have this productivity measure to meet. I have to get this done by this time. I have this doctor asking me this. So like at what point is it actually giving you what it's supposed to? And it doesn't. It doesn't.
Nah, okay, it's not. But that's a conversation on another. Well, I feel like, Donna, I feel like they know it's there, but they're choosing to overlook that.
Well, it doesn't add to their bottom line. It doesn't add to their profits. Healthcare is a business at the end of the day. And I think as long as it's a business, the workers in that business are going to continue to face things that workers face throughout all different types of businesses. Just because we're employed in healthcare, we're supposed to be a little bit like, it has that veneer of niceness and like fulfilling all these things. Well, we all know it's a business.
It's fake, okay?
It's a
So, how can we find Locum? How can we find you? What's next for you?
What's next for me?
And all the great things.
Well, in order to find me, you can email me at joy@locumapp.com. Locum is spelled with a K, so LOKUMAP. APP. That's right. That's how you find me. And what's next for me? I 2, 3, however long it takes, building the most company that I possibly.
Well, like that. Well, like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I know you're gonna do it. If there's anybody that's gonna do it, yeah, you're gonna do it.
Amen. I sure am.
Because I mean, this is an area that we need. It is an area that is underserved, and at the end of the day, healthcare is always gonna be here. I don't care how trash the economy gets. I don't care how shit the world goes. You cannot function without having it.
And the people who are in it, who are working in it, we got to be able to survive without losing our minds. So,
well, yes,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
But this crazy because I got an email last week from one of the travel companies that they're now they're now bringing on mental health providers to their nurses to be able to have this resource for them to use. And I said, so you tell me that y'all know that y'all need this, and this is how you feel like you fix it? Wow. I opened that email, I said, wow, y'all was crazy.
BetterHelp.com, you know.
Right. So yes, like we are.
I'm like
you said,
make me
they can't survive without us.
Reasonable. Make sure that I don't have to kill myself at work every day. How about you do that? But it's cheaper to pay somebody.
There you go.
It's a business.
Just give them the mental health resources that they need. Listen, no, you need to look at, but that's a whole nother line. That's a whole nother line for a whole nother day, baby, because maybe we could go down that drain.
The nurses that are working in clinics where they have adequate patient staff ratios and they have food and they don't need mental health services. So I wonder what the problem is.
They happy. They love coming to work every day. They don't. They are well taken care of by the staff. Everyone loves each other. They're a whole conglomerate of a family. They are just as happy as they. Their kids go on play dates together. They going on date nights. I know because I've worked at a place like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked there, so I know it's possible. Some people get it. Some companies get it, but the majority of them.
A lot of them don't. Yeah.
So
Thing.
I'm excited for what's next.
Yeah, me too.
What you about to do. I know because I know you. I know that you about to come in and you about to test some stuff up. On this end of the thing, y'all, she about to come in and Joy is a person who she do not take no for an answer. Okay, you can tell her now, but she's like, okay, well, if you don't like that aspect, then how about we try this approach? Okay, you don't like that one? Let's try this. Like when it comes to, she doesn't have the knowledge base in business, but she is going to seek out this is who I learned how to go down rabbit holes. She information. I was just talking to my friend about that. Like, this is who I learned it. I mean, when I think about it, because Joy is going to make sure that she finds the answer, hell, high water, by any means necessary. She is going to do it.
Somebody.
And baby, somebody goes give her that. And if it ain't you, then she's going to go above you. And if it ain't that person up there, she's going to go to the one day. She's going to go above them too. She's going to find the answer. And this is the person that you need to be comfortable to say that she is going to make sure that if you are in that space, in that arena, you can guarantee you got a CEO who is behind the company that no matter what it's going to be, hell or high water, baby, she's going to make sure that it gets done.
Yeah, that's the plan.
So I am so excited for you.
Thank you. Thank
For what's next.
you. Yes,
We're going to
ma'am.
get these shirts made
Mm-hmm.
so that I can buy them and I can sell them in my own place because we need
Okay.
them. And,
Already working on it. Don't worry, it's coming.
well, send me the link first before you release it to everybody.
Okay. I'm gonna get my shirt.
Put me on first, and then we can put it out to everybody so that I can merch it.
Okay.
So thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you a day person, baby. You be up early, and I.
You know, I have to be. But thank you for inviting. It was really nice catching up. Super.
Yeah. Thank you all for being so. Everybody that was on this live today is a nurse.
Awesome.
Every single person. We either still working bedside. Donna's a nurse practitioner. Like Brittany is getting into diversifying the world of aesthetics. Like everybody here are like game changers when it comes to healthcare.
Yeah.
So I love that we were able to connect on the platform and be able to have this conversation, because there are things that, I mean, we talk to nurses every day, like just in general, that there are things that we know, we see the changes, we know what needs to happen. So now it's our job to, like you say, be the powers that be.
Where's that bee, baby?
And make the change. Yeah. That is my statement for the week. Mm-hmm. I'm about to use it. And we about to come clear some shit up. So if y'all ready for some shit to be toned out,
I'm your girl. She's your girl.
So, I'll make sure y'all go download the local app. The Play Store and what's
the app?
What's the App Store? There you go. I got an Android, baby. I don't do that.
I was gonna go. I'm gonna let you.
It's in y'all Play Store. It's in your App Store, whatever y'all use. Yeah. Download the app. Leave a review. Make it cute. And we waiting for Locum to come and tear up this world, because baby, she about to.
And it will.
Anyway. So if y'all have questions, definitely go follow Joy. Y'all can call her whatever y'all want to call her. But
and follow
however you want to be in that lane. Sure y'all can follow you on how to connect you with social media.
Yeah, here you go. That's my I just put it in the chat, is our social media account for people to follow. Yep, there it is. Locum app is here.
So make sure y'all go follow her and just stay tuned for what's next, because she coming out here to test some shit.
We out here.
We out here. Crab leg. Question you got?
Question.
Oh, she said your account is private.
Oh, like my my personal account? Yeah, that is private.
Her personal one. Yeah, her personal one is private.
I have an account here as well, but I will go check my my requests. Somebody had a question to Resilience 3.
Yeah, I just asked what his question is. Well, well, what's your question? But we need to know so we can,
What were y'all talking about?
You're going to have to catch the replay, baby. Hit the line, hit the replay button. I'm going to save it to the account. Hit that replay, because the conversation was great. So come and get caught up, because listen. Thank you. Okay. Brittany said go replay. Okay. I'll share it in the story. Go hit the replay. Joy, thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate what you do. And let's go do some big shit.
Stuff. All right. Bye.
Bye, y'all.